their last 10 matches, and only once ever in any number of variations of these teams, of these orgs that have come in. Noble have only beaten FURIA once. That was back in winter. I don't back them to do it again today, and FURIA are starting us off with belief.
Yeah, that, I believe the correct descriptor was quick. That was very quick. Almost no time at all. 6 seconds in, we've got ourselves our first goal. FURIA already looking to try and avenge their loss. And if they can do this, the biggest winners will be erased, who are also set on a 2-0 record. Everyone over in Group B currently fighting for seeding, get the easier matchups, quote unquote, pretty much trying to avoid teams like True Neutral and Rebel, who are playing over on the B stream right now. So if you want to go and check that one out, and by all means, twitch.tv/The Rocket RB is where to catch that game. And that backboard is looking uncomfortable as the crossbar sees the ball just rattle off it.
It's been so close a couple of times already, and I don't want to be seeing that backboard left open too often. That's a very weak touch from Hippocampus to get it central as Tanda wants to get in the way of Firefox. Kaio underneath, however, able to get on the back of it, and he didn't let Tanda get his musty flick.
I mean, that's a bit rude, to be completely honest. A musty foot. Okay, so we're at that point now in Rocket League's lifespan, Stumpy. I'm not too sure what sort of goals haven't been scored. Musty flick pinch, fairly certain that that's not one of them. I'm sure somebody's going to turn around later and say, actually, mate, 2 years ago, you know, here's the clip. Can't believe you don't remember your Rocket League history.
I imagine you would have casted it as well, just to rub it in.
That's the worst one, when you casted it and you don't remember the goal. It's not the greatest play out right here. As finally, for the first time, we see a little bit of defensive danger for FURIA. They've done well so far, very calm. As Firefox, second hit, it's bounced down. Who wants it? Pass over to Hippocampus, but can't find the pass early enough.
I mean, FURIA do look a little bit wobbly on defense, though, right? Like, they've already had a couple of chances where all three committed to the ball, but Noble didn't come in and actually punish. But Renan trying to get Tanda out of the way, and he does so. Firefox can capitalize.
Well, I was going to say, I thought they were looking pretty comfortable to just let their opponents do their thing and, you know, take the ball afterwards. That might not be the strategy. Noble are, yeah, they're lethal when they get their opportunity. Wipe out that goalkeeper, bring this game back into one. As Card finds a little bit of space. He played back up. Firefox wants to get a second touch. He's not going to get there for Kaio. Just move on in. And Tanda's got a few people jumping. FURIA, they haven't been prolific, I feel, offensively. They've been a bit sloppy. But that's kind of worked for them in a way as we're off the crossbar. And Noble just don't know how to deal with this.
It was Renan saving the skin again of Noble, but it's still this extended attack from FURIA that's going to be getting them a few goals. Hippocampus can get it central. As Card from the ceiling will fake out Renan, goes low, but both Hippocampus and Firefox commit to that ball.
Card. It's crossbar again. All right, how many times? Is this some sort of weird challenge that we're just not privy to? You don't get points. Okay, we're not going to give you like a bonus win for hitting the crossbar 5 times, though if you can do that 2 more, very impressed. Some sort of alternative challenge that we're just not privy to here, Stumpy, as Renan wants to keep that pressure on. He's done well to win the race. Wants to drop it down, but Firefox forced to watch as Tanda swipes the ball away from him.
We were speaking earlier about the history that these two teams have, and FURIA have got so much history, not only in South America just competitively, but together. There have been so many times where this roster has gone through a couple of wars, a couple of changes, and yet they have still maintained the partnerships they've got going on. So the team plays between any of the players on FURIA are going to be huge. Hippocampus with a great shot, but can't save it away.
Firefox doesn't want to let this go just yet. They've got Red in the midfield. It wasn't the most accurate pass. Yet again, good flip past one, but as always, if you can't get the ball, get the car. No chance to really follow up after that. Oh, one demo for Tanda. He's going to also look for another one, but saw his car pretty much stop after the first hit.
It's taking both defenders on Noble to get rid of any ball that comes in when it definitely could just be one. I'm not liking the double commits whatsoever. They've stayed safe so far. They've had some good shots on it. They've got a goal out of it, but that was because Runner managed to get the bump. It was a great play, but I just want to see defensively tighten up a touch.
Here comes the shot, far side, and Kaio's going to make it free. And I think this very much is towards your point, Stumpy. Off the backboard, Firefox nowhere near it. To me, Noble seem to be respecting the name FURIA more than what FURIA are actually doing on the field.
I mean, it's pretty simple plays, realistically, that FURIA are doing. And earlier on, I mean, Chimako said, look, let's just make sure that all the plays are simple, they're basic, and they're getting exactly what they need to do. And a lot of the teams won't be expecting just a classic backboard double touch, because that is normally read at every single level. But the fact that it is working doesn't seem to be going particularly well for Noble. But like I said, there's definitely chances in this match where we could have seen a Noble a couple of goals. We just haven't quite been able to see them go in.
Far side pass, Card already starting to rotate back. He's going to stick around, maybe find himself a highlight reel as it is just a little bit too high. This really could have seen 4 or 5 more goals than we ended up getting, Stumpy. 20 seconds left. Unless Noble can make this push work out for them, it looks like the game's gone.
I mean, this game was the basics. This is exactly what FURIA needed to do. Some amazing goals in there. Another great chance for Card to get a double tap. Nearly one for Tanda. And this ball floating so gently just in that back third. A double commit again from Firefox and Haberkamper. Trying to let this one touch the ground so it all completes. Does so. FURIA take game 1, and not even with style, just with pragmatism.
Yeah, they've had themselves a quick break, obviously losing over in round 2. They've come back after taking round 3 off as their bye, and they are looking solid. You know, nothing insane. You know, we've sort of obviously seen some incredible goals today, but it's just been good, solid Rocket League, and it's doing the job for them right now. More of it. This is something that they can repeat continually. As for Noble, what are sort of the issues that you're seeing here? I feel like for me, they're forced to play very narrow, and it means that they're getting in each other's way.
Yeah, very often. I mean, the two players that are getting each other's way more than anything is Firefox and Haberkamper. Renan has been fantastic, using the space, going out wide, but his teammates just aren't finding him as often as they should be. There is also credit to be given to FURIA, though, where when I say that they're doing the basics and that's how they win, that is by no means an insult.
Yeah, that's not an insult.
That's fantastic. You don't want to be expending energy where you don't necessarily need to. They're just sending it off the backboard, going for double taps, even laying off a touch from the backboard and then immediately rotating back out to then defend on the halfway line is precisely what FURIA have to do. It's what they've been doing well so far in that game. And you mentioned earlier, there is respect. FURIA are an absolutely respected team in North America. Noble are the 3rd best South American team, bear in mind, but the fear that they've got against that name, when ultimately FURIA are sitting 1-1 and Noble are 2-0, I don't think today that is necessarily deserved. Noble need to come out and actually take the game to them.
Noble and Org that have been involved in Rocket League for the longest time. Even had a team back in 2016 before moving back over to the scene only a couple of years back. I'm sure for any Rocket League historians out there, players like Stocky, Vogan, you know, some of these names, Skyline.
The nostalgia Shogun.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those will make some of you happy, but right now they're looking to try make their name over in South America. And this is one of the ways to do it. What a goal!
Haberkamper with an unbelievable 50. Didn't even get the boost. Slowed it down completely. Forced his card to go high. Tanda comes in for the double commit. And Renan is in the perfect position to clear up. Noble with the first lead they have had.
Noble looking good when they give themselves space. Here's Haber once again. Kyle, what control this has been the entire way. Everyone not even daring to go and challenge. Knowing exactly what he is capable of. What a challenge once again for Firefox. There has not been what would be described as a 50-50 so far in this game. These have been crunching tackles. As we do see the attempt to play the ball back.
I like that. I always like that. I like seeing pass backs come in. It shows game control, it shows composure, and it means that they're not necessarily stressing too hard. Haberkamper, though, Good lord, that is an absolute boomer top corner. How did he get that power?
Mate, if you've got this in your pocket, I wouldn't be too worried about much of anything.
Oh, what? Kaio went for the in and out save as well, with complete boosting round at the highest speed he could have done. But Haberkamper slips it so perfectly top corner, he didn't have a chance. That was magnificent.
It's one of those ones where we could let Kaio take a look at that 15 more times. From that position, he didn't stand a chance. There is no way he is making that. So 2-0, only a minute and a half played. And we wanted Noble to show a lack of respect. They have shown a lack of respect. Instead, they are relying on some of this individual brilliance that they've got.
I mean, look,
I
respect the fact that Dex earlier on said, look, my heart really wants Noble to win. Right now, I feel like his head can be thinking that as well.
Well, Leaf will certainly be very, very happy. Only one on the desk
no one wants
predicting it. Nobody wants that. I don't know. I kind of want that. I like smug Leaf. Plus, I think we put enough people through it a couple of weeks ago, Stumpy. You know, we can sort of put up with it for a while.
Our perfect bracket.
Our perfect bracket. We don't ever talk about our perfect bracket. Saber almost able to create a little bit more space again, outpacing them. Firefox does see his shot put away. But in a sense, I wasn't expecting to say FURIA have looked second best on the pace, and once again, that defense is a brick wall on the goal line.
Renan once again showing the composure to just sit back, wait for the shot to come in, and then go. But having a bump like that is not going to be easy to get the save.
Get rid.
Oh, Bocard is in the perfect position to get the touch in. Renan saved that off the bump as well.
He just drops down. Oh, it drops straight to Card. That's a heartbreaker for Noble. Well, you got the feeling that they were kind of getting away with it a little bit with those goal line saves. Eventually, one was going to have to try and cross the line, and that was it. Half the game left to play. And FURIA on the board, going to make this a little bit more scary for them.
It's time for Tanner to work his way out of that back there, but Haberkamper just showing the speed that we weren't seeing from him earlier, making sure that he is being a dominant force on the Noble side. Firefox to the ceiling with 1, 2, and 3, but no boost means he has to leave. A no boost demo, pretty rare. So I'm impressed they managed to get that. Tanda able to dribble it away. And as Firefox gets bumped out of the play, we reach under 2 minutes left on the clock with a Noble lead.
Booming clear as well. Renan's got to play this smart. And he's done exactly what he had to do. Give his team as much time as possible. Take it for the widest angle. That's not great from Firefox.
Oh, my word.
And I'm hoping that came from a call from his teammate. Either way, they've got it out to the other side of the field. Haber, another block. In goes Renan. Had to make contact. This third man positioning from both teams. So aggressive. Any mistake might do it for him as Tanda watches it hit the upper corner.
There is aggression on every single part of the pitch right now, from players onto players, players onto the ball, players with their teammates. There's aggression everywhere. Haberkamper tries to find his teammate at the other side of the pitch, isn't able to. And as we approach 1 minute left, it becomes chaos on this pitch.
Well, both teams, I can't say they've been great off the ball because no player on the field thinks that they're off the ball. They are always going for it. Double commit yet again. It's going to be all up to this touch from Renan, and he's done brilliantly. Every single time the third man is put into a position of, you need to sort this out. They have done it. And we are down to 45 seconds left with a lead that might be more tenuous depending on how Card can play this. Over to Tanda off the backboard. And Renan hits it cleanly. Finally,
some backboard defense from Noble. And it's just Renan and being solid on the back again with 50 boosts. Let's try and work it round into that FURIA half. Firefox with a great interception, but Tanda can reach it first. Card up. Will he pass this? Tries to pass to himself. Cleared very long by Firefox. That's going in. Tanda has to clear it to the corner.
So what, if we didn't have the ceiling on it, that shot was going into orbit as Kaio gets it past the first player. Still 2 more left and only 10 more seconds. Tanda with maybe the last throw of the dice. Haber doesn't win the challenge. It's up to Renan to buy some time, force somebody to challenge him and get that ball to the floor. He's done what he needed to. And Noble have tied us up at 1 each.
Tell you what, after that performance, I'm sorry, Haberkamper. I don't care that you're front and center. Your goal was brilliant, don't get me wrong. But Renan, on like most of those plays, was the key man. He looked fantastic. Haberkamper, though, I don't want to put him down whatsoever. His speed, his aggression, his half rotations were more like quarter rotations. He was not getting into the midfield and then coming back in. He barely got past the corner boost, and he starts rotating back round to the center.
Well, this has been a great exhibition of what South American Rocket League is all about. Over on RB stream, by the way, Stumpy, in a match that wasn't quite so close, a 6-0 just got thrown down by Rebel on true neutral, which is, not a result that we would expect to see. That series so close to the moment. 2-1 currently to Rebel as they look to try and upset True Neutral and put themselves that much higher up in the seeding, looking to tomorrow's playoffs. But for now, we've got Game 3 to focus on, Stumpy. Usually I'd be asking you what team needs to improve what, but I tell you what, give us more of what we saw in Game 2. I'll be perfectly happy.
I will be so pleased if we just see the utter aggression and the disrespect. We wanted Noble to come out of their shells a little bit, get involved, really just be a nuisance in every single aspect of the game, and they are doing so. Now I want to see Furia return the favor. Don't you dare respect Noble here. Make this game yours and have an absolute slobber knocker of a third game.
I'm going to bring some pessimism into this here, Stumpy. I'm sorry about it. You've got to question it, though. Where is the line for Noble where they will go from bending to breaking with that third man? Because they're asking a lot of Renan especially. Keeps being face down with 2 players charging at him. And he's done phenomenal so far. You've got to give it to him. But it can't last another 10 minutes at least.
I feel like potentially it really could, because a lot of the shots that we're seeing Furia put on net aren't that challenging, I don't think, where a lot of them are relatively predictable, where it's a double touch. The only issue will be, okay, he's going to get the double touch, where will he place it? The worry that I have got is if there are double commits from the other 2 that come in.
Renan's got it! Fast
That's a chance!
And that's in!
Renan takes him, mate. Renan knows what he needs to do in certain situations, and yet again, he was fantastically placed. Haberkamper, though, with assist of the century, getting the bump on Kaio.
Haber just... I don't think there was a better way to play that, because he's put it right into the back of the car, meaning you've just got to stop. You have to plant yourself, and there's nowhere to go. So as soon as that bump came in, that was a sitting duck. So Haber offensively is having the time of his life and a real good show for himself as Firefox. Quick to react to the shot. Haber over to the side. Good pass to Firefox. Back to Haber. Noble do not look like the underdogs here. They do not look like a Twitch chat should have gone 78% against them. They are here, and they're having a proper go at it as the shot's saved once again.
The worry with Noble, though, is definitely that you can essentially chuck a blanket over them at any given point, because they are so close together and rotating so intertwinedly, if that's even a word, where
we'll give it to you.
Thank you. Where a lot of the time they're getting in each other's way. Now that can do a really good job of making it unpredictable who's going to get the next touch. We saw Haberkamper have a great passing play that then meant that a shot could go on target, but you don't want to have that be the default, because Kaio, when he gets a chance to go for these double taps, he will take full advantage of those Noble players being too close.
Sorry, Kyle, we've been talking about Noble too much, haven't we? You wanted the spotlight back on you, and you know what? Can't blame you. Good goal from Kaio. And that has been pretty much the bread and butter of Furia throughout this series. Keep it simple. Let Noble see what they're up to, and Noble, whilst they have risen to the challenge, have also historically struggled to maintain this level throughout an entire series, especially when it comes to that series-winning game.
I mean, and especially when it comes to Furia. They've beaten them once.
I think Furia are doing the right thing. They are being Furia. And, let your name do what it needs to. Let your foundational work do what it needs to. And see what Noble are bringing to the table. But when Noble are bringing this to the table, it might be time to start turning it up a notch.
And look, Renan got a touch on it earlier by just purely getting in the way. And then he works his way midfield, receives that pass from Firefox, and sends it top corner. That is great play. It came from being very close to each other again, but I don't think that matters too much.
Time here for Tanda. Really had the chance to speak about him. Almost found the pass to Kaio. I think Kaio could have maybe sat a bit wider. Really opened up the space for him to pass into. This is a good position for Furia. Kaio once again. Not quite the challenge you would want. Putting it to the corner does slow the play down for them. Slow the play down as much as we can really say it does over in this region. Kaio back over to the corner one more time. And usually we see the halfway line being held. No, I feel like Furia are insulted even if they go beyond the first boost. As Kaio straight down the middle. It's up to Haber to try and clear. He was almost able to contort the car into a good position.
Oh,
Not able
no.
to do so, and it's a boomer from Firefox. 3-1 on the counter-attack.
Receives that on the nose of his Fennec absolutely perfectly. Look how quick he is up. Card turns to try and then get the counter-attack from the pinch, but Firefox already read it, and he gets that shot on target with no keeper there to save it. That's another 2-goal lead for Noble. They didn't let it drop last time. I didn't anticipate they're going to let it drop this time either.
Again, the confidence. Usually, in that sort of position, you would expect to see all three players sat on the goal line. Is that 4? Is it ever? Firefox has planted himself in the midfield, and he's just sat there waiting for it.
I'm so happy for Dex here because he wanted to go, like we said, with Noble with his heart. And when a heart call
doesn't count.
actually comes out, no, I'm not giving Leaf the credit. He was a coward.
You have to. Leaf went for it.
Yeah, but Leaf only...
That's just having 2 predictions at once, Stumpy. You can't do that. Leaf went for it. I'll give him credit. I don't want to.
I'm sorry that I like Dex and you don't, all right? I'm sorry
There's
that's
nothing to do
it.
with Dex.
I'm
It's
sorry,
just how
man.
it is.
This has just been Noble, though, showing so much resilience when they have beaten Furia and any name that they've gone under once. Time and time again, they've been beaten. Back in winter was the only win they have had, and they potentially, or they're going to be going on to that series-winning game. It's a great place to be a Noble fan right now.
Off the backboard, but at this point it would take a monumental collapse for Noble to drop this game. One bump does open up some space for cards. I think with the time left, we might see some of the mechanics start showing up here for Furia, just to sort of re-gauge what they need from this series, because this is not working at the moment. Noble have hit a brand new level that we haven't seen from them. And it's not a risk I'd be willing to take. Usually, like I mentioned, we've seen Noble struggle to close the series. Playing like this, it's not a time I want to try and bank on that being the same case yet again. Noble up, 2 match points, and a chance to take it down Furia.
But Fury have got so much left to give, and I wonder why they seem to have taken that step back. Part of it is because Noble are certainly taking it so far into the Furia half that it becomes a battle in their own back third. And that's so hard to work your way out of, especially in one of the fastest regions. South America are so quick when they play, and these are 2 of the fastest teams over there.
Mind if I interrupt you here, Stumpy?
Please interrupt me, Shogun.
All right, quick update. Rebel have beaten True Neutral 3-1.
Wow.
So
okay.
the number 1 and the number 2 of the region are in trouble here. And it is only getting more and more interesting around the field. On the topic of Furia, though, I have one problem with the way that they are putting the pressure down, which is it's too much in a way. It's an interesting thing where you put a team basically on their own back wall the entire time. But doing that, so is the ball. You're not giving yourself any space to show off those mechanics that you are so good at. You're, trapped into such a tiny space. Allow a little bit of breathing room for Noble, and you'll see Furia get the ball a bit cleaner, have space to take the ball up into the air and work their magic.
And whilst the double commits were definitely reduced, they were still there. There were still times when we saw Noble double commit to a ball, especially Firefox and Haberkamper. They had a couple of issues early on in the series, and they are certainly still present. I think that Furia, they need to rely on them a little bit too more. Speaking of the devil, there was another one.
Noble dealing with it well so far. Card can turn. He takes the first-time shot. Had to make a decision between just rattling one off towards the goalkeeper or maybe trying to go for the individual play. Infield pass. Look how close they are to the goal, but they've got the triple. It's too high. And that old enemy has reared its head back. Game 1, we saw the crossbar getting attacked. In Game 4, it's happened again.
The triple commit, and still it was able to come in. Firefox, though, getting a bump, Renan getting a goal. That is exactly what Noble have been doing so far and what they need to continue doing.
I mean, FURIA they looked like they'd settled a little bit. You know, obviously it was very early, but the rotation was looking good. But Noble counter-attacking have been so amazing. It's gone away straight off the kickoff.
Memories of game one here, Shogun. Off the kickoff, a goal going straight in. Can't have to read it.
That's a tough angle to hit it from, but yeah, you definitely got to be doing better than that.
Renan fancied his chances to try and get the save in the top corner, but fantastic placement in the end from Card will bring us even once again. Maybe this is FURIA waking up. Missing that triple commit open net might have just been a wake-up call.
And, you know, flip side of that one, it's also the first mistake Noble have had in quite some time. Will that call them off?
Oh,
I don't think it will.
No, Shogun, your answer's no. How dare you ask that of Noble? Look at that.
It was a rhetorical question. Firefox gave me a very non-rhetorical answer.
That is so well played. Crossbar down, the second goal for Noble. These double taps are apparently what separates these South American teams at this point.
They don't miss, do they?
No.
I've seen, you know, them hit the ball on the floor, hit the crossbar 6 or 7 times. These double taps, they just go in. There is no real worry on either team for that. But now 2-1 once again to Noble. They are back in the lead. They are not struggling for goals. Booming hit from Firefox. He's actually kind of allowed his opponents to move back in on that rotation. These second hits every single time. It has not been easy going for FURIA to try and clear their lines.
That was a nice second touch.
That was nothing left.
Yeah.
He just predicted it 2 seconds out. Here's that double tap from Khan. Oh, there's the first one that we're going to see slightly off target.
I think that was a big ask to see that one go in, to be fair.
That apparently was not.
Oh my gosh, ask the question, get an answer. What a great read from Tanda. And once again, Firefox and Haberkamp going for a dribble together, holding hands out their Fennec windows.
You can see Noble are positioning. They expect some sort of passing play to come in. It's been very often we are seeing FURIA try and use those backboards, try and use the infield passes. They haven't actually just gone the whole way by themselves all too often.
True.
And whilst you don't want to see it, you know, a huge amount, doing it on occasion will put some fear in as FURIA are swarming them right now, looking for their opportunity, but that counter-attack will always be a danger from Noble.
I feel like I need to set up a soundboard of me saying Haberkamp and Firefox are double committed again. Because they have done it on nearly every single time we've seen them in defense. It's quite impressive at this point, in fairness.
It's got to the point, though, in Rocket League where those don't hurt too much. It used to be, you double commit, you get scored on.
I mean, they literally
Nowadays,
did about 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, double commit, and, you know, you're fine. As long as you land correctly, you'll probably be back in rotation at a decent time, as long as your third man can do some work for you. So it's not too bad, but at the same time, I do agree a little bit. You are very much stretching the definition these teams are of what is acceptable. Oh my goodness! Whoa. And Cut hits the crossbar as well. Maybe a little bit of a warning to the crossbar itself. Don't you even think about keeping this one out.
Oh, left, right, good night, Card sending that crossbar down. The third goal secured for FURIA, the second for Card, and that is highlight reel worthy.
Oh, FURIA picked up the pace. Looking great. They are hunting down Firefox just after he's hit the ball. Haberkamp gonna offer a little bit of resistance. Gets a demo of his own. Kaio only out to Firefox. He plays it past one. Goes into the midfield, but Haber not going to quite have the reaction. But how's the boost looking, actually? Noble looked to get their chance. They sent all three, and just by a whisker away, weren't quick enough.
It's Card now on the offensive, but Haberkamp up so much quicker. Can he get this dunk on Tanda? He does. That central goes to the bump as well. Firefox continues the blue play. The Card up well before running. Great read, though.
Noble are going to have to reset. They were just hitting it. You would expect him to control the ball a bit better from there, and now his team's in trouble! Oh, Noble have fallen apart!
Oh, that's a good double tap, though. Firefox, put that in black and white and slot it right into a montage. That's a read and a half.
So Noble made mention of it, Stumpy. Finishing the series off was always going to be the worry. And now there's been the mistakes. Now the questions are starting to creep up. Can they actually do it? 2 goals needed. This game's still not away from them just yet, but they've got to get a move on. And that is a great ball. No real intent to try and score. Just put it somewhere that's going to waste some time.
I love it. Puts the defense on the back foot as well. That single touch has now put Noble on the complete back foot. Great bump again from Tanda. This is fantastic time wasting, and that's an even better pass. That was game management textbook.
They just saw the panic, and eventually there was going to be something to work with. A bump on the goalkeeper. All 3 members of FURIA involved, and if you had any questions about them, they'll certainly be answered. FURIA are still at the level we expected them to be. Looks like they have responded to the challenge. 20 seconds. FURIA ready to go over to Champions Field. Are Noble on the same wavelength? Firefox, what? Fake out on the first player. He wants to try and get something to boost the confidence. But FURIA, they'll be happy with this. They'll be happy with knowing as well that without overplaying it, they could put the ball high, and Noble were tripping up over themselves.
I mean, that's the inherent risk that you take when you're a team that commits so far onto the attack that you leave the back end wide open. FURIA, as soon as they can get just a touch round, just even make an awkward 50 at worst, that is then when they can take full control of the play. It becomes so much more awkward for Noble then to defend on the back foot. It's also something for them to keep an eye on, because you were saying earlier, Shogun, you alluded to the fact that can Renan stay as solid in the back when he's got the minutes of pressure on him, with Firefox and Haberkamper both committing together on so many plays? I guess the answer is no.
No, certainly not. Although it kind of has to be said that, we didn't see Noble with as much offense. It wasn't as dynamic. It wasn't really as quick of a game, actually. It wasn't back and forth. It was mostly FURIA putting the pressure on, and Noble couldn't find the challenges. They couldn't find their way out of that side of the field. But that all gets thrown out the window here. Champions Field, Game 5. Can Noble add their 2nd win against FURIA this season? Or is FURIA just too much when it comes to the big occasion? As a shot that needed the post to be saved. Now Tanda's gone. Haber, what a bump from him. There you go. No problems.
That was like off the start line. He gets off his blocks and just kicks wildly to the right to take down his opponent. That was so well timed.
Well, if you're ever desperate to try and get a save, don't. Just hit the player. It's going to be dropped down over to Renan. Now a chance. That's going to be left by Haber. He realized that Firefox was coming in, but maybe didn't get communicated quick enough. Noble, good. Pressure to start. Double commit. Kyle going to be up against Khan. He's past one. He looks good the whole way, but the challenge couldn't happen. Double commit. Tanda slots it through the middle of the 2 charging players.
Have you ever seen a play that is more noble than this? Where it was a double commit onto another double commit onto a little bit of an open net. FURIA taking full advantage. They weren't earlier, but they have gone back to the drawing board.
I mean, the one impressive part there, Stumpy, is that they can chain double commits together.
I suppose that's a positive.
I mean, you've got 3 players. You've managed to get 4 players to double commit overall. Fair play. God. Going to just pop it over the top once again. That line very far forward from Noble when they go behind, and it's getting them caught out. They're not getting the booming clears that they need. It's Card. Has he got the reset? Stupid question, really? It's Card. Of course he's got the reset as it goes back into the midfield. Up goes Tanda. He was unchallenged. Noble starting to go back into their shell a little bit. Back to that Game 1 form as it's right into the path of Kaio. Still pressure on. Tanda over to the far side. They don't want to let this one go, though. Noble back up to Haber, who's going to be first to it as Card takes control. Noble already starting to play back.
Oh, great touch from Renan. Sets up his teammate as well. Can get that clear twice out the way. Now, just past the halfway line, we'll see Firefox and Kaio try and get the challenge on that ball central as Card and Haberkamper both challenge off. The mid boost taken by Haberkamper. He can continue that play with Renan central. High boost as well. Bounces well for Firefox. Goes high, backboard again and again and again, but it leaves the bag open and Furia take full advantage. Tanda with a runaway.
I don't know what he was really hoping for. He had a player on the backboard that maybe you can hit that too. He hit it above him. He already had a player moving forward that was anticipating the drop down ball. Can't react to it. And now Furia have got themselves a 2-goal lead. It might be 3. Firefox pretty comfortable trying to swoop that ball back up. So this is not the Noble we were seeing. This is not as clean as they once were. We knew that their playstyle was kind of walking a tightrope between being brilliant and being a catastrophe. Seems like they've just lost their balance a little bit here.
I mean, they
Still got time to regain it.
They seem to have taken the advice of don't respect them at all by then saying, oh, well, therefore, Firefox thinks that he cannot be beaten to that ball. He very much can be, but he should have been going up a little bit earlier than he was. You still need to be realistic when you're aiming to not respect your opponents, and that was just a touch too far, and it has cost Noble greatly. They need to come back now from 2 goals down. Neither team would able to do that. But Haberkamper starting off the scoring with an inner post beauty.
I think his heart might have just skipped a beat after he saw this one ricochet off the post. It was almost a shot that was going to be off target. Thankfully, an opponent came in to help. This is what we wanted, Stumpy. This series has deserved a close finish. Looks like we're going to get it, but what have Noble still got in the tank? And more importantly, can they hold their nervous? Oh! He's completely fallen apart. 3-1. And it was as poor of a goal as they could have conceded.
He had 187 boost going into that play, jumped too early, couldn't quite wrap his car around the ball, continued to go for it, and then helps it in with an incredibly tight angle double touch. That is 2 fantastic own goals for Noble, and it has put them behind again.
Oh, that might be another one. I think that would have bounced a bit too high. Well, they've got to reset. This game is still within reach, but they can't concede a 3rd. And they've got to get a move on if they want to try and get themselves that 2nd goal. That'll put them back in range as Renan just follows Tanda around. Tanda not going to offer any sort of mistakes for them. Kaio has to win the challenge. It's pretty neutral, though, between both teams. Who's going to be the first one up? Haber a bit slow. Goes underneath, and Kaio, I don't know where he came from, but they won't care. He was there, and that's all they needed. Now pass back over to Kaio. He's not expecting it. was just going to steal the boost, but they are outpacing them. And Furia with a message. This was not supposed to be even close. They want to try and make this look like it was always their series.
That is Furia with the intent of how they expect to go on in this game now. Utter control, utter completion on so many plays where they can find each other in tight situations. Card to Kaio to 4-1.
And that should very well do it. And I'll tell you who the biggest winners might very well be here, Stumpy.
Black
and that is erased. They've absolutely. But they've won their series 3-0. That moves them to 3-0 on the day. It is effectively a shootout between them and Furia in the next round. Whoever gets it. Furia actually, they're against an entirely different team. They're against Out of Skill. So yeah, for a race, they take on Noble. They win that. They get top seed in the group.
So there's still to play for, is what you're saying, Sean.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. It is certainly some incredible Rocket League still to come.
It's such a shame how this has ended, though, with Noble, because we were saying earlier on that they were definitely the underdogs coming into this. They've beaten Furia once out of any role they've had, blah, blah, and any name that they have had together. They beat them once in winter, and that is it in the RLCS X. And Furia, again, have got the better of them. But Noble started so well. They had 2 series points, and yet Furia, with the composure, just outcomposed Noble on every single front. The errors kept flying in, the double commits, the crossbar hits even were just too much for Noble to try and work themselves around. And Furia became clinical, they became faster, they became scarier, and they became the winners.
Yeah, I've got to give a lot of credit to Furia of how disciplined that performance was. There was a lot of spotlight on the way how Noble were playing, because they were playing great. We also saw just how shaky they could be. And FURIA seemed almost content with that. We don't need to go and score flip resets or anything incredible. We're going to do what's smart and absolutely work for them. As for Noble, they'll realize this was a chance. They know that the way they were playing in games 2 and 3, that was top of the region quality, and they just couldn't maintain it. It's something that has plagued them throughout the season, and it is going to hit them once again as they almost took down FURIA. But unfortunately, was not to be. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to continue the South American Major.